back at the Newcastle Fieldhouse, the championship game of the Hall of Fame Classic. The Fighting Irish of Cathedral against the Newcastle Trojans. Hi, everybody. Howard Kellman along with Dave Nicholson. This is the big one, the 8th game we've had in 2 days, the boys' championship.
No question about it when you're playing for something. And this is really the first time this season that these teams had a chance to maybe cut the nets or receive a trophy. They kick it up a notch, and we've got great talent on this court tonight to kick it up. We should see a high-level game.
Okay, and we'll have more pregame info. This is the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. Okay, here we go. Cathedral versus Newcastle. Dave Nicholson, my broadcast partner, who is a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, is involved in a presentation here at the Hall of Fame Classic. So we have the key players. Let's start with Cathedral. Stephen Thomas, number 2. There he is. He is a terrific guard, averaging 24 points per game. And their other key player is Ryan Sterling. Watch him hit that 3. That is the shot that won the first game today. He's a great shooter from long range, and that manifested itself when he hit that shot. The keys to the game for Cathedral: they must win the battle of the boards. They must defend the 3 and use dribble penetration. We go over to Newcastle. Key player is Zach Hahn. This young man is Butler bound, and Zach Hahn is a 6'1 senior averaging 17 points a game. Chase DeGaulle, 6'4 junior averaging 15 points. Those are the key Newcastle players. The keys to the game for Newcastle: hit the boards and hit them hard. Find Stephen Thomas. Don't let him dominate the way he did in the latter stages earlier today, and move the ball around nicely. So you have the key players. You have the keys to the game as well. And now we're going to the starting lineups. And there they are for Cathedral. Stephen Thomas and Dave McMahon at the guards, along with Ryan Sterling. 3 guards in the forwards: Keenan Barlow and Joe Hughes. The starters for Newcastle: Zach Hahn, Luke Bennett, and Chase DeGaulle. They're the guards. The center, Big Bobby Carroll, and Bryant Hazelman is their forward. Our officials are Tom Rohr, Ron James, and Keith Bagby. All right, that's the story as far as our pregame stuff. We'll be back with the start of this championship game. First, we'll pause for these words. This special Hall of Fame edition of the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. All right, here we go as we get ready for the championship game. And the crowd is rising, and we will have our national anthem. And back in Indiana first. Quartet singing Back Home Again in Indiana, and then our national anthem as we get ready for this championship game between Cathedral and Newcastle. Bloomington Ford is located across the street from Bloomington South High School. Go with the winner, go to Bloomington Ford. Do you have season tickets for men's or women's basketball at Conseco Fieldhouse? You can have your own reserved parking next to the entrance. Space is limited. Call Steve at 635-8318. That's 635-8318. Also available for nightly events. Proprietors Larry and Donna Cohen. For great deals all year round, visit Danville, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle. They have a fine sales force and service department. You can call them at 745-5809. Get out there tomorrow, last day of the month, last day of the year to buy a car. Danville Chrysler. And our friends at Halas Cafe, they feature authentic Greek cuisine. Located at 8501 Westfield Boulevard, Halas Cafe is open 7 days a week. Jimmy Baggios and Effie run the place. Jimmy, a proud Carmel graduate. All right, Dave Nicholson, we are getting ready for this championship game.
Offensively, it's going to be a guard-oriented game as far as scoring. You look at Newcastle, you got Zach Hahn at 17 points a game. You've got Chase Segal at 15 points a game, and you got Luke Bennett at 8. And on the big score for the Irish, of course, of Cathedral, Stephen Thomas, 25 points a game. So it's going to be a guard offensive game.
Henry County is home to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, historic Hoosier Gym, at Newcastle Fieldhouse, the world's largest high school fieldhouse. That's Henry County. Call the Henry County Convention and Visitors Bureau at 676-4302. Henry County Sports Medicine, the official provider for Newcastle High School. That's Henry County Sports Medicine. So as we get ready for this championship game, the 8th game we've had in the 2 days, Scott Hicks, the coach of Cathedral, you see talking to his troops, and these guys are all pumped up. Cathedral won its game in overtime earlier today.
Be interesting to watch the start of the game, particularly Howard. Keep an eye on 22, Luke Bennett for Newcastle. Hadn't been feeling real well. Been dehydrated a little bit, had the flu symptoms. He played pretty hard this afternoon.
Joe Hughes at 6'6". Bobby Carroll at 6'7" will jump it up. Ready to go in this championship game, and a very large crowd on hand.
Now, they say that Bobby Carroll is 6'7" and Joe Hughes is 6'6", but I'm telling you, Joe Hughes is taller. Something wrong with the yardstick there.
And the tip is controlled by Stephen Thomas of Cathedral. Cathedral working against this Newcastle defense.
Of course, the hero of the game in the afternoon game for Cathedral was Ryan Sterling, as he hit a leaner behind the line at the buzzer to win the ball game in overtime.
There's a three, and it's drained by Keenan Barlow. He's averaging 7.2 a game, and he's a sophomore.
Both teams going man-to-man here at the beginning of the game.
Three is Zach Hahn. A little bit of a weave out to Luke Bennett. We have played a little under a minute.
The thing about Newcastle, they're so fundamentally sound. They have 4 guards and a center out there, Bobby Carroll being the pivot. The other 4 players are interchangeable. They can play at the wing. They can play at the guard position.
Here's a reach-in foul, and that will be on David McMahon. The Rose Bowl. Come join us for the New Year's Eve, plus the New Year's Eve lock-in. 8 hours of cosmic bowling at the Rose Bowl starting at 10 p.m.
One reason both teams have gone man-to-man is their primary defense.
Nice pass, but the rejection. Stegall made an excellent pass, and Thomas knocked it away.
Thomas is a good athlete. You saw that. He's not big a stature. He stands 6'2", but he goes up very well and can play with 6'4s and 6'5s because of his jumping ability.
Bobby Carroll rebounds off the Thomas missed shot. Cathedral ahead 3-0 on a 3 by Barlow. McMahon with a block.
Good timing.
Joe Hughes comes away with it. Thanks to the athletic director here, Mike Bergen, for his hospitality, and Roger Dickinson and the whole Hall of Fame crew, Dave.
They do a great job of hosting this tournament every year. Sharon Roberts and Ruth help out of the office, help Roger a great deal. It's a lot of work.
Sterling missed a baseline move. The follow no good as well.
There's an example of the key that you read a while ago, Howard. Newcastle must hit the bank boards. That time, Cathedral is able to get the second and third attempt. Newcastle's got to do a good job of getting a body on people. They're giving up size at almost every position.
Come to Subway at 1700 South Memorial Drive in Newcastle. Subway. Call 529-1626. Luke Bennett. And he lost his footing and lost the ball. Here's a 4-on-1. McMahon with a bucket.
Nice job of execution. Keep the ball until the defense comes up and then bounce it off. If the defense doesn't come up, you go all the way to the ring and shoot it yourself.
Zach Hahn with the ball. Zach is Butler bound, averaging 17 a game. And interesting move. Joe Hughes went out there. Man underneath. Stegall misses. The follow no good. The follow again no good. Stegall again no good. And finally, Joe Hughes clears the boards for the Irish.
Bobby Carroll was in there badly and just couldn't get it over the lip.
5-0 Cathedral. And that is Stephen Thomas to the hoop. Fouled in the act. He'll shoot 2. For great deals all year long, go to Hubler Mazda in Plainfield. Located on US 40. Get out there tomorrow. Final day of the year to buy a car.
Watch this replay. You're going to see Stephen Thomas just blow past Luke Bennett on the dribble right there. Too much quickness for Luke to deal with.
Stephen Thomas averaging almost 25 a game, and it's now a 6-0 lead in favor of Cathedral. 4:47 to go first quarter.
He's the one player on Cathedral that can take over a game offensively, Stephen Thomas.
Cathedral is 2 of 5 from the floor. Newcastle 0 of 5 from the field. Zach Hahn. Game didn't start till almost 10 after 8. First game went late. That'll be a foul on David McMahon, and that's his second. .434 left first quarter. How do you sit McMahon down?
You do, and he is. There comes 24 in right now. That's Kelsey Barlow, the sophomore, brother of Keenan.
Kelsey at the scorer's table. Both sons of Ken Barlow, former Notre Dame star. 7-0 in favor of Cathedral, and the steal by Hughes.
Great
they had a 4-on-2.
there.
Sterling, as he won the first game with a 3, and he hits it there, and it's 10-0 Cathedral.
Steve Bennett's going to take a timeout. He says, we can't let this go on any longer. We've got to change things.
Timeout. You know, Jockish flowers make a great centerpiece or decoration for the holidays. Jockish flowers, 784-1614 is the phone number. Visit Community Ford in Mooresville for great deals all year long. Community Ford with a fine sales force and service department. Say hello to Ed French when you're out there. They're on State Road 67. Get out there tomorrow. Community Ford. Well, Dave Nicholson, 4:03 to go in the first quarter. It is 10-0 Cathedral.
Well, certainly not the start that you want if you're Steve Bennett, the coach of Newcastle. He took a timeout. He's put a couple new players, Drew Tower, number 42, in the ballgame, as well as number 50, Chris Robinson.
So let's see if
here comes the full court press by Cathedral. They smell blood. They're ahead 10-0. They're going to put the pressure on. And the one key we said, Cathedral must guard the basketball. They must get out and put pressure, not let Newcastle have open looks like that one. That's why you've got to get out and get pressure on the ball.
Chase Sturgall hits a 3, and I want to tell you, that's a basket that Newcastle needed badly. At the other end, Keenan Barlow, the 6'4 sophomore, drains a jumper. 12-3 Cathedral. 3.5 to go in period 1 in this championship game of the City Securities Hall of Fame Classic. Scooping as Hahn missed the shot, though.
I think you're better off
3-on-2.
Making Hahn drive than you are letting him have looks behind the line.
Thomas missed the shot, and Sturgall rebounds.
Newcastle likes to push it up like that really quick and get shooters spotted up. They've been well scouted by Cathedral because the coaching staff is yelling, get back, get back, get back. That means transition defense.
So that foul on Kelsey Barlow. We'll pause for these words on the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. Okay, there's our score. Cathedral ahead of Newcastle 12-3. Come to Mancino's. Mancino's Pizza and Grinders in Newcastle. They've got pizza, grinders, salads, breadsticks, and much more. Ask about their banquet facility. Thank you to Wayne for feeding the crew at Mancino's. Visit the Best Western Raintree Inn in a quiet suburban location on the south edge of Newcastle on State Road 3, less than 3 miles from I-70. Zach Hahn. 2:50 to go, Dave. First quarter.
Just before the break, you're better off giving Hahn the drive than you are the standing three. You got to get out on him.
And he hits it. He's averaging 17 points a game. It's a 12-6 game. Cathedral led 10-0.
Reason that is, Newcastle has 4 guards. All of them can shoot the 3. You got to get out and pressure the basketball. They shoot the 3 at the rate of 37.7% for the season.
Sterling hits again.
You have to wonder if that big shot at the end of the afternoon game, it didn't give him tremendous confidence. It looks to me like he says, give me the ball. That rim looks awfully large tonight.
That's exactly right. Boy, you're getting that zone. You feel confident. You're pumped up. You lose yourself in the flow. Stegall missing a 3. Rebound taken down by Eric Peck. Here's Stephen Thomas. Luke Bennett commits that personal. With 1:51 left in the first quarter. Cathedral ranked number 6 in 4A. Newcastle number 1 in 3A. Newcastle the defending 3A champions. Hahn missed the shot. And it's saved.
Great hustle there by Kelsey Barlow. Showed good quickness going out and saving that loose ball. I really didn't think he had a chance to get to it. He never gave up on it.
A minute and a half left in period 1. Cathedral ahead 14-6. 42 is Eric Peck. Working left side to Barlow. Kelsey Barlow hitting a 3.
Kelsey was 100% coming into this tournament. He had only taken 2 threes, but he had made them both.
And the Fighting Irish are ahead 17-7. Cathedral is 3 of 3, Dave, from three-point land. Stegall for 3.
That's a good look. Chase Stegall's not going to miss that all night. He's too good a shooter.
Stephen Thomas out to Sterling. And the Irish are in command here. And we'll have the Irish on the TV 40 game of the week at home against Arlington and our final Friday in January.
I think they're going to be real patient here. We only got 33 seconds left in the quarter. They've got a nice 11-point lead. Why not take the last shot? Good decision.
25 seconds to go, absolutely. You go in with at least an 11-point lead this way.
And they've got the ball in the hands of the man that's either going to take the shot or make the play. Stephen Thomas will penetrate. If he has space, he'll pull up and shoot it. If not, he'll kick it out to one of his teammates.
8 seconds.
They're too far out on the court. They got to get closer.
Here's Thomas driving one-hander, and he's
closer.
got it. And a tremendous first quarter for the Fighting Irish of Cathedral. After 1, Cathedral 19, Newcastle 6 on the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. TV40 Sports presents the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Dave, some stats.
The first quarter shooting for the ball clubs. Cathedral's red hot, 7 of 11 for 64%. Newcastle's ice cold, 2 for 11 for 18%. Rebounds are about even. Cathedral 7, 6 for Newcastle. Newcastle's turned it over 3 times. Cathedral only 1 time.
Cathedral started the game with 10 straight points, and Stegall misses, and the rebound is taken down by Kelsey Barlow. Stegall off slowly, 1 of 6 from the floor. A couple of those attempts from three-point land.
Well, he won't stop shooting. He's a good shooter. He's 41% from the three-point line. I think, again, Cathedral's doing a good job of playing up tight on him, making him dribble. You're going to give up some layups, but they only count 2 points, and he is a deadly three-point shooter, as is Zach Hahn for Newcastle. I like the way the Irish are defending them.
We're a minute into the second quarter. Cathedral with the first 10 points of the game, and now on a 7-0 run as well, ahead 19-6. Little one-on-one action, and the shot didn't go by Kelsey Barlow.
And I thought Kelsey actually traveled there before he got the shot off.
And Hazelman, the 6-foot senior, banks home a 3. Here's Thomas. Free man out there, Sterling, not this time. Rebound all Newcastle. Stegall's got it. It's a 10-point lead for the Irish. Let's see if Zach Hahn can come alive. No call made there, no over and back.
You had a better look than I did. I thought he might have been on the line myself.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't tell from here. Was he on the line, you said?
6:14 left in the half. Keenan Barlow commits the personal. Chase Stegall at the line, shooting. That's the first one. If you want, here's that over and back that we thought should have been called.
Let's watch it here and see. He's going to throw it. Well, they didn't go far enough, I think, for us to see the line action, but they threw it back, and it got away from Newcastle. Here we go. Here we go. He was clearly in the backcourt on that. Scott Hicks, the coach of Cathedral, had a reason to yell.
If you want great deals all year long, go to Royal Chevrolet in Bloomington. That's Royal Chevrolet in Bloomington. Get out there tomorrow. 6 straight Newcastle points. Say hello to Eric Wilson at Royal Chevrolet. 6 minutes left. We're in the second quarter.
Travel.
Sterling, no travel call made, though.
Well, I made the call. I guess that didn't count.
Hughes. Thomas spinning, twisting. Kelsey Barlow missed a 3. William Stubbs in there.
He pushed off to establish position, did William Stubbs, and I believe they got him. Yep.
It's not a guy you want to get hit by. I mean, he can play some football. One of the top running backs that we saw in the TV40 Game of the Week.
Well, he stands 6'4", and he's built very solid.
.538 left in the second quarter. Cathedral ahead 19-12.
Newcastle's on a little bit of a run here. If they can get a score here, they feel very much back in this basketball game.
Ball knocked away. Good defensive play.
Nice hustle there by Kelsey Barlow, going right into the Cathedral bench, trying to save that basketball.
Here's Zach Hahn.
Nice step out. That was our man that stepped out, Stubbs.
Worked the ball down low in the basket underneath by Bobby Carroll, the 6'7" senior. And now the lead is down to 5.
There's too much character with Newcastle's ball club to stay behind as much as they were. They're going to fight you.
8 straight Newcastle points. Thomas misses. Cathedral, the 4A football state champion.
Long.
That 3 didn't go by Hazelman. Out of bounds to Cathedral as Cathedral beat Concord to win the state football championship at the RCA Dome. Great tradition. Here's Patrick Polygraph, number 22, checking in for Cathedral for the first time.
Now Newcastle has to get another stop, get a possession, standing with a 5-point margin in favor of Cathedral.
Final word on the Cathedral football team. Coach Jim O'Hara's done a terrific job. Stubbs. There's Thomas, and he's got it.
Little teardrop layup. Nice touch by Stephen Thomas.
And it's a 7-point lead for Cathedral. That ended the 8 straight Newcastle points. There's Zach Hahn. There's Stegall. Good look, but no.
Well, Stegall and Hahn are both getting some looks off of that stagger screen. They set a double screen and then flare out. It's working very well. Nothing wrong with the offense. They're just not knocking it in.
Timeout. 3:49 left in the half. Cathedral ahead 21-14 on the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. There's our score. Cathedral ahead 21-14. Come to Mancino's. They've got pizza, grinders, salads, breadsticks, and much more. Mancino's. That's Mancino's. And now we tell you about the Rose Bowl. Join us for New Year's Eve, Rock and Bowl. The Rose Bowl starting at 10 p.m., 8 hours of bowling. Substitutions for Newcastle. Luke Bennett has come in for Cathedral. Keenan Barlow, Dave.
Cathedral's really cooled off their shooting. They were still 47%, but they were up around 60 because they're 1 of 6 here in this second quarter.
It is Cathedral ball. Leading by 7. They led by 13 at the quarter. Joe Hughes outside looks to make his move. There's Sterling. There's a 3. And the rebound taken down by Bobby Carroll.
Both teams working hard on the defensive end.
Zach Hahn a long 3, does not connect. Work the ball down low. Here's a foul underneath.
It was a good move by Bobby Carroll. He was coming across the basket, and it was really an inadvertent call. His feet got tangled up with Keenan Barlow coming across. Nothing intentional. Just tripped over Barlow's foot, and they called the foul.
Thanks to the Henry County Sports Medicine Center for their sponsorship. Bobby Carroll misses the first. For all your plumbing, industrial, commercial, and fireproofing needs, call Pipe Incorporated at 887-8770. Steve Fendler and the crew do a great job. That's Pipe Incorporated. Whether you're looking to improve your position on the high school depth chart or make an NFL roster, St. Vincent Sports Performance Center can help you. That's 415-5747, St. Vincent Sports Performance Center. We thank all our sponsors in this City Securities Hall of Fame Classic. Thomas misses and Zach Hahn rebounds.
The Cathedral's playing that open middle zone, and that's designed so Thomas can penetrate all the way or pull up and shoot it.
Zach Hahn hits a three.
37% shooter behind the line on the year. Hahn and Segal will not stop shooting. They'll be shooting when this game ends.
An 11-2 Newcastle run, cutting a 13-point lead to 4. As we approach the end of the first half, 2:25 to go. This is Stephen Thomas. 33 is Joe Hughes. Polygraph hits a three.
Punch and pitch. Good penetration. Kick back to Polygraph for the standing shot.
One of the things we're seeing, Dave, which we didn't see in the consolation game, is much better shooting, especially from three-point range.
Well, particularly the Irish are picking their shots better. Newcastle's still not up to par, but they're starting to hit a few of them.
Here's Zach Hahn. There's Stegall. Lost the ball. Excellent play there by Eric Peck. They wanted to travel. None was called. Work it down low underneath. A nice pass from Joe Hughes to Eric Peck.
Steve Bennett's asking about that travel that you spoke of. Here's that play. Nice pass down low. And you saw Segal come over. He had his hands up, but he was hitting him, bumping him with the lower body. Good call.
That's Eric Peck at the line. Well, I'll tell you, what about sectional 10? Good bounce there, but Cathedral, Lawrence North, and Arlington, Warren Central, that could be a tremendous sectional.
It should be an outstanding sectional. That sectional is an excellent sectional. The Noblesville sectional with Southeastern, Carmel, and North Central and Noblesville is also equally good. Central Indiana is loaded with some pretty good basketball teams. Cathedral being right there among the best.
Lawrence Central also in that sectional, and they have a good team this year.
We saw them open the season against Lawrence North, and they played well that night, and they got on a roll since then, and have played extremely well.
1:20 left to go in the second quarter. There's Zach Hahn. Outside to Drew Tower. 42 is Drew Tower, a 6'4 senior. And this is Zach Hahn with a minute left in the half. Hahn for three, and I'll tell you what, Joe Hughes did a good job getting in his face. However, Eric Peck with the offensive putback. I beg your pardon.
Tower, wasn't
Check
it?
that. It was Drew Tower with the offensive putback.
Yep, he was good hustle by Drew. He didn't stand and watch. He went to the glass, got rewarded.
40 seconds left to go in this first half. 25-19, and Newcastle a high-scoring team, but not in this half.
You have to give Cathedral credit. I think they've defended very well. Newcastle's made some shots, but they've only made 4 threes, and they've lived with the three. They've taken several of them. You look at the total score, and you have to feel good. You've only given 19 points to a team that averages 64 points per ball game. On the other
10
side,
seconds.
Cathedral's well below their average.
Polygraph rims the basket. That's Sterling.
That guy
Sterling
is making a living on big shots at the horn today. Ryan Sterling.
Well, a great way for Cathedral to end the half. At the half, the score, Cathedral 27, Newcastle 19. Upcoming, Dave Nicholson's interview with Roger Dickinson, the executive director of the Hall. This is the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. Hello to General Manager Scott Walker. Get out there tomorrow, your final day to buy a car in 2006. Do you have season tickets for men's or women's basketball at Conseco Fieldhouse? You can have your own reserved parking next to the entrance. Space is limited, so call Steve at 635-8318, 635-8318. Proprietors Larry and Donna Cohen. Henry County is home to the newly famed Newcastle Motorsports Park that offers the greatest karting facility in the USA, as well as historic Mount Lawn Speedway. Henry County Memorial Park, called the Henry County Visitors Bureau, 1-888-676-4302. So we get ready for this third quarter. Dave?
Primary difference remains to be in field goal percentage. Cathedral is 45.5%, whereas Newcastle's only 30%. Interesting stat, Howard. One turnover in the entire first half for the Trojans. They only averaged 7.9 a game. That's outstanding. Cathedral did a great job, only turning over 5 times in the first half.
You know, it's especially impressive when you consider there's fatigue playing the second game one day.
But remember, Newcastle, 4 guards in the lineup. They should be a good ball handling team, and they are. This game will be closer than 8 points. Newcastle will make a run. I feel that strongly in this half.
Ryan Sterling will inbound. Does so to Stephen Thomas as we begin the third quarter. The original starting lineups for both teams. Thomas to the hoop.
Set play. They tried to get a backdoor play for McMahon, number 10. Defense did a good job covering it.
Spinning and twisting and shooting and scoring is Joe Hughes, the 6'6 senior.
Here comes the full court press. Should not bother Newcastle. They've got a lot of guards on the floor.
The Fighting Irish lead by 10. Hans pass, nobody there. Finally, Bobby Carroll comes away into the hands of Stephen Thomas. Missed the jumper. Offensive board to McMahon. Thomas across the lane, no basket.
I believe that foul is going to be on Chase Segal.
Oliver Family Motors on State Road 3 next to Walmart in Newcastle, eager to support the Newcastle Trojans. They've got new and used vehicles, Chevrolet, Pontiac, Buick, and Cadillac. Oliver. Stakal with 3 fouls. He's still in there. Beautiful pass and a foul.
Excellent interior passing. Keenan Barlow drew the rotating defender, passed it over to Hughes. There's the shuffle pass over to Hughes, and he did get fouled going to basket. He'll be 2 free throws.
Special hello to Andy Carr, general manager at Quality Leasing. He loves high school sports.
You have Hughes' free throw percentage. I got 18%. Is that right? For number 33, Joe Hughes at the line. Probably hasn't taken many this year.
Nope. Still a 10-point game. We've played a minute of the third quarter. A 10-point Cathedral lead. Zach Hahn.
Use the high pick, and then they'll flare the guard to the corner.
And they work it down low. Didn't convert. Here comes Thomas. Nice dish inside, but the shot did not go by Barlow.
Hazelman on that last play, Brian Hazelman, number 30, turned his ankle. He's trying to run it off right here, and standing right here, bent over. The referee's checking with him right now to see if he needs a break.
Enjoy the great food at the Best Western Raintree Inn. Twigs, the on-site restaurant, offers a pleasant dining atmosphere and a variety of breakfast menu items. That's the Best Western Raintree Inn in Newcastle.
Hazelman's a tough kid. He'll keep going.
That pass intercepted nicely by Ryan Sterling. Nice pull-up jumper.
Smart play. He had a defender in position to attempt to take the charge. Sterling pulled up.
That's a careless pass, and on the turnover, Cathedral gets it back.
There's a foul, and that foul's going to be on Keenan Barlow. He was going a little bit out of control. He dropped the pass down, but he couldn't stop his momentum. Steve Bennett there on the screen, and I tell you, he's scratching his head because they just don't turn the ball over like they have the last 2 or 3 possessions. That's very uncharacteristic of the Newcastle Trojans.
Both these teams undefeated.
Newcastle stands 9-0. Cathedral 7-0 coming into this.
And the Hall of Fame Selection Committee certainly did a good job. You have to predict how you think teams will be the following year when you select the teams.
You have to do that ahead of time. They'll pick the teams this year in March for next year. It's based on the returning players and how you anticipate. Exactly right. And generally we have teams that are rated in the top. This year we have 2 undefeateds playing for the championship.
Zach Hahn outside to Hazelman. Boy, that is a very, very important bucket for Newcastle.
That'll make his ankle feel better in a hurry.
The lead is 9, 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Thomas. And that is a held ball.
Nice little set offense there by Cathedral. Didn't get it completed inside. They run kind of a form of the UCLA. Run the shuffle cut off of the high post down, and then they screen down and pop the guard back out. Fits their personnel well.
Work it down low in the bucket underneath by Chris Robinson, who played very well in the earlier game.
Remember, he came in this afternoon, got up 6 points in the third quarter, added a couple more baskets in the fourth. So he's filled in well today behind Bobby Carroll.
10 is McMahon. Robinson did 8 points in the third quarter this afternoon. Wow. Did a great job. Well, you get that lift off the bench. It adds an extra dimension to your team. Sterling's shot is short. And a 7-point Cathedral lead. For great deals in Plainfield, go to Hubler Mazda on State Road 40. Fine sales force and service department. Hubler Mazda in Plainfield.
Important possession for Newcastle. They've been chipping away at the lead and get it down to 5 points.
Stegall fouled in the act while shooting a 3, will shoot 3.
I think that's the worst foul you can commit. Fouling a jump shooter behind the 3 line. You want to contest, but you definitely don't want to foul. He clearly got him pretty good across the arm, and he puts a 67% shooter up there. Contest, but do not foul the jump shooter anywhere, but particularly do not foul him behind the 3 line.
Second time tonight that Stegall has been fouled while shooting a 3. For Cathedral, William Stubbs and Kelsey Barlow check back in, and they replace Joe Hughes and David McMahon.
Got it down to 5 points.
7 straight Newcastle points. The lead was 12. It's now clipped to 5.
Five-man out motion offense, open middle. They set a lot of back screens in this.
Here's Stephen Thomas. Spinning and shooting. Fouls his own shot. And it's 6 feet 2, and he scores.
Could have been fouled on that play as well.
Big basket for the Irish ending the Newcastle run. There's Hahn. There's a 3.
Looked like it was dead center. Rattled out.
Timeout. 3:42 to go in the third quarter, with Cathedral leading by 7 on the Indiana Members Credit Union. Game of the week on TV 14. There's our score. Cathedral leading Newcastle 33-26. A special Tuesday night edition of the Game of the Week this Tuesday, January 2nd at 11 p.m. Franklin Central versus defending 4A champion Lawrence North at 11 p.m. on TV 40. Jawan Johnson of Franklin Central will be going to Purdue.
We've already seen two recruits by Purdue today, and Martin and Humboldt, to go with Johnson. Matt Painter did a pretty good job.
And making a move is Chase Stegall.
Drew the foul on Kelsey Barlow. That's his second.
That is number 2 on Stephen Thomas.
I apologize to Kelsey Barlow. They did call that on Thomas.
There it is, Dave.
You're right. Both of them were there, and they said Thomas tripped him.
And that's an excellent play by Kelsey Barlow intercepting the pass.
And that's a lousy pass. It was a great play. You work so hard to steal it. You want to take a little better care of the ball.
Stubbs.
I think that was on Chase.
That might be on Robinson.
Nope. Ooh. Watch this. This is quite a collision. There it is. Robinson did lean into him with his chest. I agree with that call.
I don't know if anybody in the football season hit him that hard.
He looked a little startled, he being William Stubbs, number 23.
Here's Thomas. Work it down low. Eric Peck. And we have a little over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Cathedral by 9.
Missed the rollout, man.
Turnover. And unhappiness with that call.
Going wild on this. He's all over the floor asking each official to check it.
I mean, Steve Bennett is furious. Look at him. Wow, he's upset.
None of the three officials felt it was touched. Coach Bennett definitely did. You know, I don't think he did touch it. But I'll tell you who had the best look of all of them was Coach Bennett.
That's right in front of him.
He might not be too objective right now, you know. I wouldn't be.
His team is down by 9. Cathedral has led this entire game. A whistle as they battle right side of the lane.
Bobby Carroll. Remember this afternoon, they let them bang and bang and bang on the low post. That's where I think officials are not consistent. They let the post players play like that all afternoon. Now tonight, watch the inside play here. It's a foul, but it's just not quite. Oh, that's a better look. That ball was not touched.
No.
That, I thought they were going to show the post up, but that showed the call that was debated.
2:43 left in the third quarter. Visit Community Ford for great deals all year long. Community Ford, State Road 67 in Mooresville. Get out there tomorrow, last day of the year to buy a car.
Big foul there for the Trojans because that's the 4th foul on Chase Stegall, and he's one of the second leading scorer on the ball club.
There's Thomas, pull-up jumper. And as they battle for the rebound, a whistle.
It's going to be on Eric Peck over the top. And I don't know about you, but it seems to me like the officials have started to call just about everything now.
Thanks to the Henry County Sports Medicine Center for sponsoring the Newcastle games. 2.5 minutes to go, third quarter.
Wide open.
Bennett, 3, no. Rebound Stubbs, and the pass intercepted by Hahn.
Nice read.
Pull up 3. There's Thomas. Ball batted away from behind by Bennett. Excellent play.
You don't encourage that, but when it happens, it looks good when you come in from behind.
Bennett got the step, and Bennett drew the foul.
He made the steal. He deserved the opportunity to score that basket. He's going to get an opportunity at the free throw line. Nice take on the baseline. Stubbs comes through in front of him. Didn't quite get there and made the contact.
Cathedral calls time. 2 minutes left, third quarter. Henry County has several activities for the whole family. Visit the Boondock Farms, the Jacobs Family Orchard, Pine Retreat, Henry County Historical Society Museum, and the Arts Center of Henry County. Call the Henry County Convention and Visitors Bureau at 888-676-4302 or visit henrycountyinn.org. Well, there is the huddle as you look at Newcastle, and Newcastle trying to get back in it again. A concerned Steve Bennett, his team down by 9.
People always say the team takes on the personality of their coach. You know how aggressive Steve Bennett is. You do see how aggressive his ball club is. You never give up in this game.
Luke Bennett at the line.
Steve Bennett, former assistant coach at Evansville University, coached one of my outstanding players, Scott Hafner. Scott was a 1984 graduate, had a great career down at Evansville.
And very successful as well in the business world.
Real successful, worked for Eli Lilly in the sales, got a group of sales force under him located over in Ohio right now.
And now it's a 7-point game.
If Newcastle can get a stop or two and get one more basket, they're going to feel okay going into the fourth quarter. They need to get the stop. They got to have a lockup on defense right here.
Here's Stephen Thomas. Almost lost the ball.
Got the second one. Everyone thought he missed. Everyone in the building thought Thomas traveled, and they didn't call it, but they got the second one.
Each team has committed 6 turnovers in this quarter. We only had a total of 5, both teams in the first half. There's Zach Hahn. Oh, and it was not able to be handled by Bobby Carroll, off his hands and out of bounds.
It's a real dangerous pass. There was 2 defenders between he and Bobby Carroll, and it was too high and hard for Carroll to go up and catch. That was so important that Newcastle get a look there. They didn't even get a shot.
Cathedral ball. There's Stephen Thomas. Will they count it? No, no basket.
Call it on the floor.
1:20 left, third quarter. That foul is on Drew Tower. A non-shooting foul.
I'll tell you what happened there. Luke Bennett got run into a screen, and he switched. That put Drew Tower, a 6'4" player, on Thomas. Not enough quickness by Tower to cover Thomas.
The short jumper by Polygraph is good. And now it's a 9-point Cathedral lead. Polygraph's helped him with 5 points off the bench. Bennett will be at the line on the foul, 1 and 1. Patrick Polygraph commits the personal.
There's a replay, and you saw Polygraph push him with the arm. Bennett will get 1 and 1. Didn't take advantage.
Oh, he missed it. Eric Peck with a rebound. Ball batted away from behind. An excellent play by Bennett, who scores. Luke Bennett with a bucket.
And stepped in bounds. Another turnover.
Right, Cathedral turns it over. For under a minute, 57 seconds left in the third quarter.
This gives Newcastle the opportunity I talked about to get this lead down to 5 points or 4 points if they hit a 3. But the important thing is not to do that. They need to get a good look. They didn't even get it on court.
Ryan Sterling intercepts the inbounds pass. And he was guarding the man who was inbounding. You don't see that one often.
You got to keep hustling. Got to stay positive. Can't get down on yourself.
That's Stephen Thomas. Nice move. Got the step and that pull-up jump. But Bobby Carroll rebounds.
And one more time, Newcastle has a chance to cut this 7-point lead down. This is the third possession. Last 2, they came up totally empty.
20 seconds left, third quarter. There's Zach Hahn. To the hoop, and Drew Tower scores. And they've cut the lead to 5. Better hurry.
They can
8
get a
seconds.
stop.
Now they got
They'll
time.
feel okay about it.
Thomas, 3. And 0.2 of a second left. Now they say Zach Hahn was out of bounds, so Cathedral will get the ball. 0.2 of a second left.
I don't think you can catch and shoot in 0.2 of a second.
Not unless you're Houdini.
They can tip it. They can throw it up and tip it, but they cannot catch and shoot.
They try to do what you said. And nice effort there, but
the only choice they had right there.
Kelsey Barlow unable to do so, and that's the end of the third quarter. With the score, Cathedral 37 and Newcastle 32. This special Hall of Fame edition of the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. Forty Sports presents the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Okay.
Howard Newcastle was able to chisel 3 points off that halftime lead. They trailed by 8. Now they got it down to a 5-point margin.
Cathedral scored the game's first 10 points.
I've been really impressed with Cathedral, both ends of the court, particularly defensively. They've stayed after the shooters. You have to really guard Newcastle, especially on this floor. They are tremendous shooters. People might not believe that if they're watching it right now, but they can knock you dead from outside.
Thomas with a driving one-hander a la Julius Irving, Elgin Baylor there.
He has a feel for the flair, doesn't he? He wants to make that a sensational play, and he's capable of doing it.
There's Bennett. Good rebound by Ryan Sterling. Here's Thomas leading a 4-on-2. Free man in the corner, and he hits the 3. Keenan Barlow. And a moment ago, when the third quarter ended, the lead was 5. We've played a minute of the fourth quarter. The Irish lead is 10.
Well, here's that 1-3-1 trap that we saw this afternoon that really hurt Valparaiso. And it's very, very effective. One reason it's so effective, they put Joe Hughes up on the point of that. He is 6'6". He's hard to pass around.
Zach Hahn missing a 3. The rebound into the hands of Stephen Thomas. There's Sterling. There's a 3. No. Out of bounds to Cathedral.
There's Bobby Carroll, as you see in your picture. Big guy dove on the floor to try to save the basketball without hesitation. You can't think about that. That's a reaction. If you're an aggressive player, you'll do that.
And the Irish should be in no hurry. 6.5 to go. They're ahead by 10.
They'll keep playing. Remember, they average about 80 points a ball game, 80, 81 points. So they're used to scoring a lot.
Keenan Barlow. Oh, good offensive board by Ryan Sterling all the way to the hoop.
That's a tough shot. That was a runner. He didn't come up and shoot a jump shot and plant himself. He shot it on the move. That's a difficult thing to do.
Newcastle calls a timeout. Newcastle calls a timeout with 6:06 to go. And Cathedral with 7 straight points to start this fourth quarter. For great deals all year long, go to Royal Chevrolet in Bloomington. With a fine sales force and service department, get out there tomorrow. That's Royal Chevrolet in Bloomington.
One of the primary keys, again, for Cathedral, as we mentioned at the top of the game, at the beginning, defend the three. They've really done that pretty well. Newcastle's made some threes, but they've also missed several because they've been under a lot of pressure from the defense of Cathedral.
There's Scott Hicks. Coach of Cathedral's done a fine job over there, and they're undefeated.
Here's that 1-3-1 trap. As soon as the ball hits the 10-second line, they'll channel it to a corner. Hughes being the point man there, he'll push it to the side, and the double team will come.
Zach Hahn. And it's a 7-0 run for Cathedral. Newcastle needs a basket badly. And Ryan Sterling with another excellent defensive play.
Well, you've got players with long arms and quickness on Cathedral's team, and that's giving Newcastle a little trouble. Newcastle's used to completing those passes, but with that extra length in the arms and the quickness of Cathedral, they're not able to attack that zone half court. Neither was Valparaiso, if you remember earlier today.
Stephen Thomas, and he's fouled.
Going to be on Luke Bennett, I believe.
He'll shoot two. There's Stephen Thomas. He's the Pipe Incorporated leading rebounder of the game, Stephen Thomas, with 6 rebounds. He's 6'2". Let Pipe Incorporated help you rebound from your problems. Chase the call back in.
Remember, he's coming in with 4 personal fouls, but at this stage with 5:27, you trail by 12 and possibly 13 after this shot. You got to have your shooters on the court.
Stephen Thomas makes that one. 8 straight Cathedral points to start this fourth quarter.
Thomas was cramping up a little bit. That happens when you go hard on 2 games in one day. They're going to stretch him out. He won't be out of the game very long.
Luke Bennett. Here's a foul against Cathedral.
I believe that's going to be on Kenan Barlow. Kenan, I believe that might be his 4th personal coming up. Nope. They called it on the split and got it on Dave McMahon from the backside. They both were there. That's 32 is Barlow, and then you had McMahon in the back. They gave it to the back man, McMahon.
Stegall shooting 2.
That's really hurt Newcastle, too. They have not hit the free throws like they normally did. They shot 11, hit 7. They normally would hit 8 or 9 of those.
And Joe Hughes rebounds. Here's Barlow. And the Irish should be in no hurry. They're ahead by 13 with 4:55 to go.
They're playing that open middle zone and flash cutting through the lane with basket cuts.
And there is driving to the hoop, Brian Sterling. Sterling has played a great game.
Well, that's the reason. There's 2 reasons they're playing the open middle zone, to give room to drive, and that is Thomas, number 2, and Sterling, number 30.
Nice pass down low, and Bobby Carroll scores. I mentioned Sterling's played a great game offensively and defensively. And the ball lost.
Pass it.
And a foul.
I don't think he planned it that way. The Pantagraph committed that foul, but it turned out to be a good foul because you had the ball at front and only 2 Trojans there for a sure lay-in. And again, I don't think he planned it that way, but it turned out to be a good foul.
There's Chase Stegall shooting 2. And a special thanks to Reeves Buick Pontiac for sponsoring the play of the game in the Hall of Fame. Get out there, Bill Reeves, Miles Robinson, Wayne Leach, Mike Logan, and the whole crew. Get out and see him tomorrow. And get a Reeves Buick Pontiac at Reeves Buick Pontiac. Here's a foul.
And that's a reaching foul on Bennett. And Coach Bennett is talking to player Bennett and say, hey, you can apply pressure without the reach. If you get a foul, make it be a block charge call, something like that. But that's his 4th personal, and he's an awfully good ball handler, Luke Bennett.
Stephen Thomas at the line. .416 to go, and Cathedral is looking great, ahead by 14. Thomas 4 of 5 from the charity stripe, and a 15-point Cathedral lead.
Cathedral's really been able to open this lead up and get a cushion. The 1-3-1 trap has helped them.
Stegall hits a three. And we're halfway through the fourth quarter. There's Thomas, and he is fouled by Stegall.
That might be in today for Chase Stegall. That's his 5th personal foul. He gave it a good effort. The result was not what he wanted or what anybody expected, but Thomas is so quick, he uses that stutter step, and when Stegall tried to close on him, he caught him with the knees. It was a good call.
Stegall fouls out with 11 points and 5 rebounds. There he is.
Remember, he averages 15 points a game. He's a great player for the Newcastle Trojans. Didn't have the great night tonight.
Thomas makes the first. Newcastle with 6 of its top 8 players returning this year from the championship team of a year ago. Both teams coming into this contest undefeated. Here's Hazelman. Tower for 3.
Partially blocked.
Thomas to the hoop. Joe Hughes in no hurry. And why should he be? 3:25 left in the game. Thomas has 10 points in this third quarter.
Yeah, and Thomas has really demonstrated athletic moves and shown his skills.
That one didn't go by Tower. Cathedral's ahead by 18 with 3 minutes to go. Timeout. 3:02 exactly left. 16-point Cathedral lead on the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40. Here is Keenan Barlow about to hit a three, and that's a Reeves Buick Pontiac play of the game as Barlow hits the three. Reeves Buick Pontiac sponsoring the play of the game. That was a big three by Barlow. So we have 3:02 to go, and it's all over but the final 3:02.
Well, Newcastle's got a tough road to hoe because they do trail by 16 points. Both teams are in the double bonus. So every time that Newcastle fouls trying to get the ball, they're going to be shooting 2.
That's Zach Hahn. Some excellent defense by Joe Hughes. Hahn wanted to get that shot up in the worst way. And Tower hits a three. He has 7 points off the bench. Here's Thomas.
They'll keep it in Thomas's hands. He's so good with the ball. He can stop and go. He's quick on the first step, and he can find the open man. They need to keep it in his hands.
And a whistle.
Well, they chose to foul away from the ball because they wanted to put number 33, Joe Hughes, up there. He's the man that I had for 18% coming into the day. So, you know, they've scouted. They have charts. They know who can hit free throws and who can't. But it's still just about an impossible situation when you trail by 13 with 2:28. You almost have to beat yourself. In other words, I don't think the other team can beat you. By beat yourself means you turn it over, you take shots you shouldn't take, or you don't do anything on defense. All Cathedral has to do is make Newcastle use about 10 or 12, 15 seconds each possession, and the clock runs up.
2:24 to go. Cathedral ahead by 15. There's Zach Hahn. Had a long three that time by Hazelman.
They used their 15 seconds, and they came away and held Newcastle without a basket.
Zach Hahn is an excellent player. Cathedral's done a good job on it.
Done a great job on him throughout the ball game.
He's 2 of 9 from the field.
Yeah, we said, you remember one of the keys, they've got to keep pressure on the three-point shooters. They've done a pretty good job of that.
Luke Bennett going to the line, and he's fouled with 1:53 left.
There's Luke Bennett going in, and Thomas tried to reject it. There again, it's not going to be a factor in this ball game, but at this point, I think I'd rather have the clock run, let them have the layup. You've got a 15-point lead, keep that clock ticking. Coach Bennett, this will be their first loss of the year, but he's a good coach. He'll have them ready to go, and I suspect this Newcastle team, who are the defending 3A state champions, will make a run deep into the tournament again this year in 3A.
There's Zach Hahn. .150 to go. Cathedral ahead by 15. There's Stephen Thomas.
They've just got the court spread wide open. Nobody within 12, 15, 20 feet of the basket, leaving the middle open. If they leave it, someone will sneak underneath. If not, they'll just pass the ball around and over the top of this zone.
Polygraph holding onto the ball there. We're down to 120. .110 left. Cathedral on the way to winning.
Twice now.
That was supposed to be a pass.
Drew Tower has tried to foul Hughes twice, and the referee didn't call it.
Hazelman, long three. And the follow by Bobby Carroll. .59 seconds to go.
Howard has been a great City Securities Indiana Hall of Fame classic.
That is Stephen Thomas, our Jiffy Lube star of the game. 17 points and 7 rebounds. 11 of those points in the second half get out to Jiffy Lube for that signature oil change. Okay, as they clear the bench, the off-field difference maker, Ryan Sterling. He had 11 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 5 rebounds, a couple of steals as well. A great game by Ryan Sterling, our off-field difference maker.
Well, the real difference, though, the off-field difference maker was his shot this afternoon. Without that shot, the Irish probably are not playing tonight, and he hit that leaner, if you remember, at the buzzer in overtime to get his team in the championship game.
All over but the final minute. That is Brian Shelbourne. Billy Powers in there, 44, the quarterback on the football team. Bobby Powers, we should say.
They're not even looking to shoot. They're letting the clock run out. Newcastle wisely at this point says, okay.
That three didn't go by Hamilton, Jarrett Hamilton. 22 seconds left, and you got to congratulate Cathedral.
Great effort.
13-point lead for Cathedral. Athletic director at Cathedral, Terry Funk's going to be a happy man right now as well. Terry's son is a catcher in the Cubs organization. – 11-point Cathedral lead. 40 is Kyle Koenig. It's Jared Hamilton. 20 is Brian Shelbourne. 5 seconds to go. And the shot is rejected with 1.1 seconds left. And that's a happy group of Cathedral players. The final score in this championship game. Cathedral 55 and Newcastle 44. 55-44 Cathedral in this championship game. This is the Indiana Members Credit Union Game of the Week on TV 40.